Hi there and welcome to Unity Insights. Here is another helpful video on Unity learning for you today. For those who are not familiar with me, myself Somnath Chaudhary and I am a professional Unity developer. In today's session, we'll explore different type of lights in Unity. If you are still finding the camera properties tricky to understand, I've created a detailed video where I have explained each one. Feel free to check it out if you are interested. Lighting in Unity is essential for creating atmosphere, enhancing realism, and guiding players' focus in your game or project. Let's try to explore what all different type of lights are there in Unity and understand their properties. Here I have created a small environment using Unity's default shapes, Unity provided shapes, to show how light effect change when you change the light properties. Please note that I have downloaded few images from Google and using them in this tutorial. Another thing to note, here I am using Unity's built-in render pipeline. First, let me show you the game objects in the hierarchy so that you can create similar environment if you want. So here I have all total 3 game objects. This is my environment. If I open, this is an empty game object. Inside that I have created one floor. Okay, here you can see this is my floor, which is a plane. Right? If you right click here, under 3D object you can get plane, and in that plane I have used a material called floor. Okay, and in that floor this is mobile bump diffuse I have used, and I have used this texture and gave the tiling 3x3 so that it looks like this. Next I have created a cube, okay, and gave them, and I have given the size and position. Okay, you can see here the size and position. So similarly I have created all different walls. So this is the bottom area for this wall. You can see the white line. So I have created all 3 side bottom area. This is another wall which is also a cube, and the third wall which is like textured one. Here I have used different material, wall texture. So if you select wall texture, now you can see it is in opaque, and I have used this wall texture. Okay, so this is my wall. Next I have added another cube for roof and another cube for false ceiling. All of these are like default pattern. Next I have few posters. Right. So inside poster I have added one material. So this material, if you select, now you can see it is unlit texture. Okay. So similarly for poster 2 and 3, same, all 3 are unlit textures. Next I have lamp. For lamp, it is an empty game object, the top one, and inside that I have a light which is a cylinder, and it has a unlit light material which is unlit color, type of unlit color. Another is stand. Okay, here I have, it is a cylinder. I have used black material here, and it is a standard one. So standard one I just added change the color under albedo. Next one, bottom. For bottom also I have created one sphere, and I have added here a steel material which is a standard one. Here you have changed the color and gave the metallic to 1. So that's why you can see some shininess there. Next, table. Little, okay. So under table, this is the empty game object, the parent one, and the table top, it's a cylinder, and I have added a material called glass. So this glass material, here you can see it is a rendering mode, transparent. Color I have added a little bit, and smoothness I have added, increased a bit, right? So that you can get this shininess and reflection and the transparency. Table bottom, it is again a cylinder. Okay, I have added the steel material here. If you are getting such warning, you can just turn off this contribute global illumination, so the warning will go. Okay, so similarly for 2, 3, the same material, cylinder and all this. Let me turn these things off, so these things will go. Okay, steel material. So you can see here, this is my steel material, some color and metallic. Next, I have chair. So this is the parent one, is empty, right? Empty game object, and inside that there is a chair seat, right? You can see the orange color highlight. So here this is a cube, and I have added the steel material here. Next, inside that, let me see. Inside that there is a capsule where I have used the black material. Right? It is a standard one, and I have added the color. For chair seat, okay, this is the another one for the back. So I have just duplicated it and just rotate. After rotation, I just placed it here. So you can see the orange one is the background, and inside that there is a capsule which is the black one. And these are 4 legs below, which is again steel type material, right? Let me quickly turn this off, will not get confused. Okay, so this is one chair, full chair, and I have duplicated it in 3 times. So this is another chair, and this is the third chair. Next, spotlight model. So this is the object you can see here. So for this, the top parent is empty game object. Inside that I have a cylinder, right? And I have used the steel material here. And light model, which is the outer, the black area, where I have used the black material. And inside light model one is another inside yellow one, where I have used the light material. Light material is again unlit color, and I have added the color. So similarly I have added 3 times. I have duplicated it and added 3 of them. Next, hanging light. Hanging light is this one. Let me go up. Okay. So in hanging light, the top parent is empty. Inside that there is a point light I have kept. Let me move it to the lights. Okay, so hanging light is the empty. Then the holder, which is the black area, and this is a cylinder, and I have added the black material. Next, that rod. Okay, this is also a cylinder, and I have added the black material. Then the light model, it's a sphere, you can see, and I have added the unlit light material here. And the holder, it's again a cylinder, and I have added the black material. Next, I have TV. So for TV, I have added the cube here, and a black material I have attached to it. And inside that I have added one quad, and in that quad I have added unlit texture, which is type of unlit texture. And I have dragged and dropped this TV screen here. Next, Unity Insight, so which is this text, right? It is an empty game object, the parent, and inside that there is a text mesh pro. So if you don't know, right click here under 3D object, you can click on this text mesh pro. Okay, So you'll get this, and then you can give whatever text you want, right? And based on your requirement, you can change the font, you can make it bold and all this stuff. So this is all about my environment hierarchy. Now under light, so this is a empty game object, and inside that I have kept all my lights. Unity provides 4 types of lights: directional light, spotlight, point light and area light. To create a new light, you can right click in the hierarchy, go to light, and then you can choose whichever light you want. Another option, create an empty game object and add component light, whichever light you want. And then you can select whichever light you want from here. Okay. Let me delete this. Now we'll understand directional light. Directional light doesn't matter where the position is. If you change the position for the directional light, it will not matter. Like if you can see here in my game window, if I change my position of directional light, nothing happens. Similarly, if you scale it up or scale it down, nothing happens. Only the rotation matters here. If I rotate something, now you can see the shadow is moving. Right? Under directional light, there are properties. Right? Here first is type. From here you can select whichever type you want for your light. Here it is directional light. In directional light you get a color. Whichever color you want, you can choose. Blue if it is night environment or like evening, so you can choose like cool or theme. Based on your requirement, you can choose the color. Next is mode. So under this you will get 3 options. Real time means whenever you change, it should reflect, mixed and baked. Baked is something whenever you bake your light, so your light would be preserved light data in a light data object. And mixed is mixed of both baked and real time. Light intensity is the how bright the light should be. You can see if I increase the value, now you can see in my game view how the light intensity is changing. And the default value is 1. Indirect multiplier, how far the light can bounce. In built-in render pipeline, we will not be able to see much difference if you change this indirect value. But if you are using URP or HDRP, you will be able to notice the difference. Next is shadow type. If you go near to that wall, okay. As of now, it is mentioned as soft shadow. Okay, so this is how you want to draw your shadow. If it is hard shadow, you will immediately notice how it will change. Now you can see it is changed. It is show harsh, the shadow, and no shadow means there won't be any shadow. Right? So let it be soft shadow. Under soft shadow, then there is a property called real-time shadow. So here you can change the value for the shadow. Now you can see the brightness of the shadow is reducing. Okay, it's becoming dim, and the surrounding environment it's glowing up. So that's the strength of the shadow. Next is resolution. How you want your shadow resolution. If you select low resolution, you can see, notice here how the shadow quality reduced. Right? For optimization purpose, you can play around with these values. Right? And the default is use quality setting. Bias is something, if you increase the intensity, now you can see there is a light coming through this wall, right? It's like how far your light will be passed through. If you increase, now you can see it is even more, the bias, right? Even normal bias, if you increase, now you can see how far it's pushing. So if you hover on it, now you can see the small description how this shadow will pass through, right? It's good to keep it 0, or like based on your requirement you can keep playing with these values. There's nothing like static value, right? So based on your requirement and your project need, you can change it. Near plane controls the for the near clip plane when rendering the shadow. Whenever you hover on it, you can read a small description about it. In Unity, cookies are grayscale texture that can be used on light to to mask the light with a specific shape or color. Let's see how it works. If I select in this circle and select some texture, okay, let's say this one. Okay, as our environment is too small, we cannot see anything. Let's create a big plane. This is plane, okay, and then scale it up. Now you can see. So in directional light, we have added this image, okay, and light is casting like this mask with the image, whatever image we have kept here. In this, you can change color. You can choose whichever color you want, right? Or you can change the intensity as well. So this kind of thing you can play around. Okay, and you also have a size for the cookie. If you want to increase the size, you can increase. Now you can see how it is increasing, and some of the shadow is coming here, the mask shadow. Okay, and here the default value is 10. Let's revert it back. Select none and delete the object. Now select our directional light. Next is drawhalo. What it does, if you enable it, now you can see there is a halo drawn around the light, right? So based on your intensity, the size will differ, or the brightness will differ. So based on your intensity. So that's drawhalo. Next is flare. So if you want a flare from your light, what you can do, you can add a component called lens flare, right? And here it requires a flare object. So let's create a flare object. Right click, create, and then lens flare, right? Okay, I already have one, so let me delete the new one. So I'll use this old one. Okay, it's lens flare, and in this lens flare it requires a image texture. And my texture looks like this. This is also downloaded from Google. So now I have attached this to my lens flare, right? And in your main camera, one thing you need to add here is flare layer. Okay. Now if you select directional light and drag and drop this new flare here, right? So your flare should be seen. Now let's increase the size somewhere around 50. Now you can see here the flare is seen. Now you can change the color as well, right? Based on your requirement, you can change whichever color you prefer for this flare. So this is how your flare looks. And from this main camera, if I rotate toward the sky, now you can see this is how it looks. Let's select the directional light. Next is rendering mode. You have three options: auto, important, and not important. If you select not important, the shadow will not cast. Okay, but if you increase the intensity, now you can see some areas are like illuminating, right? It's becoming so bright because we are mentioning it as not important, but some of the part it will be drawn. So this is why it is not important, and if it is important, definitely it will run. So best practice is to keep it auto. Let Unity decide what to do. And the last option is cullingmusk. So cullingmusk, as we mentioned in the camera, okay, so this is for layer to omit. Okay, so for example, for this, let me select my floor, okay, and I'll change my floor to my layer, something. Okay, and in directional light, I have disabled my layer. That means in floor, my light effect will not be seen. Okay, if I enable this, now you can see the light effect is coming on the floor as well. So this is about directional light. Next we'll explore spotlight. Unlike directional light, spotlight has two extra properties. Okay, one is range and one is spot angle. My spotlight is here. Let me turn on my gizmo. Clicking this button, I will turn on my gizmo. Now you can see my light, which angle it's going. So now this is my range. If I try to reduce, now you can see the light source and the range is reducing. Okay. So it was 6. Similarly, spot angle is like how the angle should be big or small. Now you can notice here, if I increase the angle, now you can notice the angle is increasing. If I reduce that, it is reducing. Right? So based on your requirement, you can play with these values. Remaining all the same, similar to directional light, all the values are same here. Next we'll see point light. So point light for center. Okay. Now here, this is a point light. You can see, if I zoom out, now you can see the circle, like how range for this light is. Okay, here you will see only one value, which is range. You will not see angle. Okay, if I reduce the range, now you can see the circle is reducing. Right, the sphere of this light is reducing. Right? If I increase, it will increase. Okay, here one thing I'll mention. So I have another point light, which is not this one. Okay, this hanging light. Okay, here my range is 1, but I have enabled the drawhalo, and because of that you can see a small hollow around the light. If I increase the intensity, you will be able to see what I mean to say. You can see there is a hollow around the. Okay. From this angle, I think you will see better. You can see there is a hollow. Okay, so similar to whatever color you have, based on that hollow will be drawn, whichever color you choose. So this hollow, the size will matter based on your range. If you increase the range, the hollow size will increase. If you reduce the range, the hollow size will reduce. Okay, so this is all about point light and area light. Area light, it is mentioned as baked only. So for that you need to bake your light, then only you will be able to see the area lights. So as of now, I have used area light for false ceiling. That you can see there is a go down and then look up. Okay, there's a big square you can see here. So this is for my ceiling, and another I have used for this Unity Insights text. Okay, so here in area light you will get 2 extra parameter. You can set your width of the light, height of the light, and range, of course it is there. Also you get a shape, rectangle or disc, what kind of shape you want. Okay, once you are all done with your this setting, what we can do, you can go to window, rendering, lighting. Okay, your light setting will open, and from there you need to generate light. So based on your system performance, it will take time. It could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or like how heavy your system is. So and the data will be saved in your light data. So after that, what we can do, if I disable this 2 light, still I can see my light effect here because this light is already baked. So if I disable, nothing happens. But if I disable other lights, I can see how dim it is because those are real-time lights. One important thing you need to do before you generate the light. So you need to select all the game objects and you have to make that static, because bake light only works on static objects. In dynamic object, which is like non-static, bake light will not be effective at runtime. To know more about the lighting, you can visit Unity's documentation page. You can visit this link, and from this link you can drop down here and you can choose whichever editor you are using, and then you can go through the light properties. That's it for today's video. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. I hope you got some insight about different Unity lights and I'm able to explain the properties of those. Do comment down below or send me your query via email, which is mentioned at the bottom right corner of the screen. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning.